Hello all! So far, all the rhymes I've looked at on this channel have originated in England. This time, I thought I'd look at an American rhyme, and how the theme is reminiscent of a fable linked to a Scottish king and to a 14th century Mongol warlord. Now that's worth watching, isn't it? Itsy Bitsy Spider, or as it's known in the UK and elsewhere, Itsy Bitsy Spider, is a rhyme and a song with actions which you may well have played as a child. Various videos on YouTube reciting the song have clocked up over 1 billion views. I've added a link to one version, which should appear in the corner of the screen about now. There are lots of slight variations to the words, but it basically goes as follows. The Itsy Bitsy Spider climbed up the water spout, down came the rain and washed the spider out, out came the sunshine and dried up all the rain, and the Itsy Bitsy Spider climbed up the spout again. The history of the origin of the rhyme is actually quite straightforward, in that we don't know who wrote it, when it was written, or what it's about. Don't turn off. It doesn't appear in the usual first nursery rhyme collections of Tommy Thumb's Songbook or Gamma Gurton's Garland. I suspect, like many nursery rhymes, various versions appeared in ballad broadsides or chapbooks, but as these were cheap and often thrown away, the origins can't be traced. A version of it can be found in Arthur Walbridge North's Camp and Camino in Lower California, published in 1910, in which he recites a rather more adult rendition, in which he refers to it as the Spider Song. I'm not going to recite it here, but you can follow it yourself. But this does suggest the rhyme would have been well known to his readers. The version we know today has appeared in children's Mother Goose books from at least the 1940s. So what might the origins be? Well, fundamentally, Itsy Bitsy Spider is a tale about perseverance, against the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, climbing back up the water spout again and again. Fables about taking inspiration from persistent creatures are common in literature, and I thought it'd be fun to explore this in the context of Itsy Bitsy Spider. The clearest example of a determined spider inspiring a great leader is that of Robert the Bruce and the battle for the Scottish crown in the early 14th century. The wars of Scottish independence ran from 1296 to 1314. This involved fighting between the kings of England, Edward I and later his son, Edward II, and a number of Scottish noblemen, notably William Wallace, whose fate I mentioned in the video on London bridges falling down. After his defeat, Robert the Bruce took up the great cause. It's Bruce who is of interest to us here. Following defeat at the Battle of Methven in June 1306, Bruce fled with a small group of followers, going from place to place, avoiding the forces of the English king. While in a cave, when he was at his lowest ebb, and all seemed lost, he observed a spider spinning a web. The spider was trying to run a line from one side of the cave to the other. It tried and failed, but each time it reset itself and tried again, and on the third attempt it succeeded to bridge the gap and build the web. Bruce took this to be an omen that he too should try again to claim his throne. He subsequently inflicted a series of defeats on the English, culminating in the final decisive victory at Bannockburn in 1314, securing independence for Scotland and being crowned Robert I. There is, unfortunately, a problem with this fable. It's almost certainly apocryphal. It first appeared in Tales of a Grandfather by that writer of many a Scottish origin myth, Sir Walter Scott, and was published between 1828 and 1830. But that hasn't stopped a small tourist trade in visitor attractions laying claim to being Bruce's Cave. There's one on the Isle of Arran, 2 caves on Rathlin Island off the coast of Northern Ireland. There's one in the Trossachs National Park near Loch Lomond, and one on the Scottish border, each with its own obligatory spider. But where might Scott have got the idea of a determined spider inspiring a king? Of course, he might have invented it himself, or he may have adapted the ancient tale of Tamerlane, or Temur. Tamerlane was a 14th century Persian warlord who fought a bloodthirsty and hugely successful campaign and rose to become the ruler of a kingdom which would eventually cover much of modern-day Afghanistan, Iran, and Uzbekistan. Much like Bruce, having been forced to flee from his adversaries, Tamerlane found himself hiding out in a cave or forest. There he saw an ant carrying a grain up a slope. The ant dropped the grain a number of times, but eventually the ant prevailed. Inspired by the ant's perseverance, Tamerlane returned to the fight and reclaimed his throne. Today, he's viewed as one of the most successful military tacticians in history, and also one of the most bloodthirsty. He's hailed as the founding father of the Uzbek people. So, as you sing Itsy Bitsy Spider to a toddler, remember you could be sowing the seeds of a great military warrior who will conquer Central Asia. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short tale of conquest and downpipes. If you did, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. Bye for now.